Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to do a 1-year review on the Torqueedo 1103. I've had it maybe a little under a year, about 10 months. I have it on my Hobie PA 14 with the 360 drive. I'm going to do a deep dive on this. I'm going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between. Overall, I've had a good experience with it. So we're going to start with the price point here. The price point on this is $28.99. So let's call it, it's gonna be $3 grand plus after shipping and handling and tax, which is, it's pretty substantial cost. That's a lot of money. You can get a Newport vessel for $700 and a 24 volts, 100 amp hour battery for maybe, $700. So call it $1,400. You're all in with that. Do you get the speed of the Torqueedo? You do not. On my Hobie, full throttle, a lighter load, I'm in the upper 6s, maybe nudging on 7. I've hit 7 a few times. If I have a heavier load, I'm consistently at 6.5, no problem. I do steer with my rudder and I steer with my drive a little bit, but not so much. I mainly use my motor for long runs. And as far as the range goes, and this is right off their site here, it's saying if you're going slow, you got a range of 53.3 kilometers, and I'll convert that right up here for you. And that's gonna give you a run time of 9 hours and 11 minutes. If you're going half throttle at a speed of 10.9 kilometers, conversion, you're gonna have a range of 15.9, and you're gonna have a run time of 1 hour and 28 minutes. And if you're going full throttle looking for the speed, you're gonna be doing 12.5 kilometers per hour, and you're gonna get a range of 10.4 kilometers. But that's only gonna give you a runtime of 48 minutes. So you might make your run out there, but you might not make it all the way back in. And that's happening to me multiple times because the battery that they give you is a 29.6 volt battery, and it is 31 amp hours. To get an additional battery, I believe it's $900, $800, somewhere in that range. It's a substantial amount for, a little battery. If you want to relocate that battery, because this cord for the battery, it's not that long. And I had a heck of a time trying to figure out placement for my battery on my Kayak, and I ended up having to pay an additional $100 for an extension for this cord to give me 3-4 extra feet, and I wasn't pleased with it, but it's something that had to be done. Another thing that happened to me, but this didn't happen right away, it was probably about 3 months after use, is my steering triangle, because I put a pin in, locked my motor in place, and I told you guys I steer with my rudder and my drive, that little piece snapped. So I had to go online and get the aluminum one that is made for this, and I'll link the website up above. But it wasn't cheap either. It was like $100+ for that, the steering triangle. And then on top of that, I had to buy the rock guard, because without the rock guard, you're gonna be tearing up your prop, you're gonna be busting your skeg. I mean, you could smash your whole lower unit, the whole motor, And then you're out $3 grand. So you kind of have to get the rock guard. It's a no-brainer. I mean, I believe the rock guard was $250 to $300, but you're already in at $3 grand, You can't stop now. The only other issue I've had with this motor is the plastic siding on it is coming off. It's not really a big deal. I don't really think it does anything, but this side right here already came off. The other side is kind of starting to peel off. Those are the cons. And they're not huge cons, but it adds up. I think I'm in this Torqueedo damn near close to $4 grand. After you factor in tax and shipping and it's a $4,000 investment, and it doesn't even have spot lock. You know, I'm to the point now where I want to get the Motor Guide XI3 and pop that sucker in the front just to have spot lock if I'm on a lake or the wind's blowing, because I'm a guy that likes to fish standing up. It feels very unnatural for me to fish sitting down, and especially when I got all the rods in the back of my camera, I can't cast like I want to cast. Like, I know a lot of people comment and say, oh, you cast funny, you know, you look off balance. I am off balance because I can't cast like I want to cast, because I don't want to smack one of these rods right behind me. So I'm doing all, you know, side casts and weird overhand casts, and I'm used to being on a boat where I have the space. But so going back to the motor, it gets me to where I need to go. It handles the big water. You know, I can do circles around people with trolling motors. I can get to spots much faster than other people, but I am in the position to where I think I will put the Motor Guide XI3 on the front of my kayak for next year, because I plan on fishing the tournaments, the tournament trails, and I'm gonna need spot lock. I can't pedal and keep myself locked on a spot because I don't sit down and fish, you know? So I'm constantly drifting. And I have an anchor wizard that only works so much, you know, and it puts a lot of pressure on my A-trail, because it sits right on my A-trail, and I use a 10-pound weight in the Delta, and that thing gets hung up a ton. I can't tell you how many of those mushroom weights I've lost. I just had to cut them off because they get snagged or they get stuck. I can't pull it back up by hand. I don't even winch it up because it's such a heavy weight. I just pull it up by hand, toss it in my boat. That is the only downfall with the Torqueedo and the Newport vessel, is you don't have the spot lock ability. So if you're fishing super calm water where you don't have wind or you don't have current, this is the way to go. It's a no-brainer. I might sacrifice some speed to have that spot lock ability. Or at the very least, I might have, if I know what I knew now, I might have gone the Newport vessel route, cut back my speed a little bit, but I would have got a bigger battery, which would have gave me far much more run time. With the money saved, I almost could have got, the Motor Guide XI3 on the front. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Overall, I'm super pleased with the motor. I just am missing spot lock. So in the near future here, probably in the next couple months, I'm gonna end up adding a trolling motor to the front, something with spot lock for the tournaments. I need to be able to stay on top of these fish, especially in the winter, where you're out deeper and you mark some fish and the fish are kind of constantly moving, but you got a wind coming from the north that's pushing you. It's really tough because I'm constantly drifting. I can't throw down my anchor in 30, 40 feet of water. That's not gonna work. So I need that spot lock ability, especially in the winter months, the colder months. But if you are thinking about getting a Torqueedo, pushes the PA14 like none other, man. It throws wake, my nose pops up. I have a aftermarket mounting bracket and plate for it, so it sticks off a little more. Think of it more like it's like a jack plate for my kayak. So that's pretty cool. It pops my nose up a little higher. I don't get on plane or anything, but it definitely helps me out a lot when I'm running long distances. And for control and keeping water out of my kayak, it kind of shoots it off to the side nicely. But that's pretty much it for the Torqueedo. If I were to give it a grade out of 1 to 10, this guy's gonna get a solid 8. It's got it. If you're not running full blast and you kind of go maybe 60, 70%, or if you got buddies that have, trolling motors and you're just kind of cruising along with them going 4.5, you can go all day with this thing. Or if you want to go like 5 miles an hour, 5.5, you'll probably get about 4 hours run time. But if you're going full tilt boogie and you just want to get there, I don't know, maybe 2 hours. From my personal experience, 2 hours. But typically what I do is I'll go full blast, and then when I get to like 50%, and then I'll kind of go down to about halfway, and then that'll get me through the rest of the day, the next 4 or 5 hours. And then, like I said, when I'm on my spots, I'll use my pedals to reposition here and there. Fish standing up, I drift, I pedal back. So I don't really use this to stay on spots. I don't put it on super low to troll. I mean, I could, you know, put it super low and I could stand and fish if I wanted to. I haven't, but that's always an option. But that's something I'll probably do when I get my trolling motor down the road. But 8 out of 10 is that's what I'm gonna give this Torqueedo 1103. Would I recommend it? If you got the money to spend, sure. But I'm telling you, after you buy everything, you need the rock guard. That's not even a question. You have to have the rock guard. You have to have the aluminum steering triangle, because even if you're gonna do the foot pedal, it's cheap plastic from the manufacturer. That thing will break on you. It will break. It's just a matter of when, and it's not gonna be at a good time. You could be on the water. Mine happened on the water and my motor just went sideways on me. I had to pedal like 4 miles to get back. I was super pissed. But anyways, I'll link it in the description. All my aftermarket parts for this motor, and you guys go check it out. You make the decision. Is it worth the investment? It's a lot of money, but I'm super happy with it. I have a huge kayak. I mean, the PA14, that thing is like a barge, and this pushes that no problems. So thanks guys. Hope you liked the video. Give me a thumbs up if you do, and be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna be reviewing a few more items I have in my kayak here in the weeks to come. So talk to you soon.